Hello, everybody. How are you? I think everybody's starting to connect, and we have a small group here today, but I'm going to say small but powerful, and I want to say good morning to you all. If you want to pop your cameras on for a second so I can see everybody, that'd be great. And if not, no worries about it. I'm just going to chat with you for a few moments. Hello, Michelle. I can see your face. I see, let's see, Jim is coming up. There's Astrid. I see a few. I'm going to just wait for everybody, all the audio to connect, and I'll just smile as I say hi. But I would have you mute. Good morning, Joan. My mentor and my idol. Yes, she's my idol, Joan Breitbart. How honored I am to have you here in my workshop. But anyway, hi, Jim Bolin. I see Unimotion Fitness, but I don't see a first name. Just say hi. I see Jill Johnson over here on this side. Hello, hello. And Astrid and Michelle and Lynn is coming on board. I want to thank you guys. I am streaming here from my Pilates studio here in Colorado, where we just had a foot of snow yesterday. So if I showed you outside, it is a complete mess. But I am so excited to share with you, is the favorite product I have ever worked on. And I'm not sure if all of you have the Parasetter. If not, everything that I'm doing here today is Pilates based. You can do on the floor, but I can tell you that your experience will be completely enhanced by this product, and it has changed my life. So about a year ago, I'm not going to go through my bio or anything because you guys can go read all that. I just want to get on the session because this is a short session and I have a lot of stuff to share with you, and I'm going to share a very brief PowerPoint, and then I'm going to get down on the ground. This is where we'll be down here, and I'll move everything a little closer. You'll be able to see it. But right now, I just want to chat with you. It's called the Parasetter, and the product is through the Physical Mind Institute. If I can see by a show of hands, how many of you are familiar with the Physical Mind Institute? Of course, Joan, because Joan created it. She created it, and how honored I am that she is here. So that was where I got certified many years ago. I don't even speak my age. I'm 67 years old, and if it wasn't for what I do because of the Physical Mind Institute, I probably wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. So with that said, the product that we're going to be working with is called a Parasetter, and PMI, I'm going to use PMI instead of Physical Mind Institute. It's just an acronym that we can use for now, but they have a multitude of products out there that make your practice so much more effective for you and your client. And I think that's what's so paramount about what we do here, what they do there at Physical Mind Institute. And it goes beyond the Pilates world. And I think that is what attracted me to the Physical Mind in the very beginning, because they were really into functionality and how the body really truly moves in time and space. And they have the ability, with all of the wonderful experts they have in their realm and their organization, to be able to create products that really make what you do even better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. As I can talk forever, and Joan knows, so she always tells me I need to shut up, and I have a hard time not shutting up. I'm going to share with you my screen, and if you have any questions, I know that SCW is going to put my email in the chat, so that you can email me if you have any questions. And we only have like an hour and a half, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. I'm going to pull up my screen. So this is my PowerPoint today. You don't need to see all this because you know who I am. So I'm going to move into the next one. Sometimes it takes a second for this to change. So you still see me in the corner, hopefully. And I'm wondering why this won't move now. Let's go, please. It won't go to the next one. How do we get that to go to the next one? There we go. So these first couple of slides, I'm going to run through them quickly, just show you a little bit about SCW and the organization. I have been involved with SCW since 1989, from the very first organization. And over the years, they've grown to be an incredible organization, providing, first-class education for the fitness professional, even the Pilates professional. In every realm of discipline that we use, they cover. And now, of course, because of COVID, they've had the opportunity to really capture the market online. And if it wasn't for what they're doing today, we wouldn't be having this workshop, because COVID restrictions are still going on throughout. And then here we have a little bit more of their information for where they can be found to align on Instagram and Facebook and all that. You're probably going to see all these slides in all of the presentations today, but when you take a look at the number of certifications, can I tell you that I was the first one to start this, that in I think it was 91, we did the first Pilates fitness mat work. It was very much based on fitness. We only had 25 exercises in it. And look at where it has grown to. I can't even count right here. So she's got a significant number of those as well. And as well as videos, 150 plus leading presenters, top 20 fitness and health topics available. So there's always something for you. And now they even have on demand. And on demand is so popular today, as you probably all know and are aware. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are already doing some on demand on your own, because this is what the market needs to do. So it looks like Mania is coming back, and the first one is scheduled for October. But I'm going to leave it there, and I want to talk about what we're doing today. And we are meeting the Parasetter today, and I'm going to lower my screen a little bit, and you can see the Parasetter on the ground there. It's a unique roller system. I think you're all familiar with foam rollers. I'm sorry that my head is cut off here, but there's something very different about this. And that's what I want to speak to. Number one, it was developed by a very well-known physical therapist. Actually, I think she's a physiotherapist as well, known for her work in dance medicine. And her name is Marika Molnar, and she works with the New York City Ballet. The purpose of this, exactly in this paragraph, it helps counterbalances the stresses of life that lead to compressive loading forces that result in back pain and more. And I'm sure some of you have experienced back pain. I experience it every single day. I have scoliosis in the lower 3 lumbar of my spine, and that was caused due to chemotherapy that I had years ago. And the exercises that you do on this beautiful Parasetter are going to relieve so much. And today is about rest and recovery. And the beauty is, I'm going to run out to the back and grab another Parasetter real quickly so I can show you what it looks like really close up. And here it is right here, disappearing. The beauty of being in my Pilates studio is that I can just do this for you. So if you take a look at this Parasetter, this is up close and personal. You notice that the back is flat. And then notice that in the center, there are 2 rollers, and in the center is a beautiful center line. And when you're laying on this Parasetter, your spinal column lays comfortably here, supported by these foam rollers that are on either side of the spinal column, which stimulate or relax the spinal column, or allows it to, because there's nothing blocking the spinal column here. It is the most comfortable piece of equipment I've ever worked with, and it truly, truly relieves, rest, and restores, but I can also tell you it also challenges. So we even have exercises, which in the next workshop I'm going to do this afternoon, we'll be covering how I can use that Parasetter along with some other pieces of equipment that can help create the ability to improve muscular strength, muscular endurance as well. I'm going to move on to the next one here. So when we talk about this Parasetter, we have the ability to breathe comfortably and effectively. And by that, I mean, I like to term the breath to my students, breathing 360 degrees, full diaphragmatic breathing. And in breathing, what we're going to be using is a 4 to 6 active exhalation pattern, which means we'll inhale for 4 counts, followed by an exhalation on 4 counts, allowing us to go through passive and active breathing. And we will talk about that as I get on the Parasetter itself. The Parasetter, why rest and recovery? I think COVID alone today has taught all of us the importance of rest and recovery from a stress standpoint. I think we have all been, I don't want to use the term enlightened, but we've all been involved in different degrees of stress, and based on personalities will determine how an individual is going to react to that. Rest and recovery gives our bodies the chance to regenerate itself, and by utilizing different practices along with so many other, and there are so many other things out there. We know there's yoga, there's meditation, there's acupuncture, there's all these different things that help us recover. But when we talk about rest, we're talking about stopping movement completely with no activity at all. And those of us that are fitness professionals have a hard time doing that, myself included. And I think COVID has given me the opportunity to sit down and take a deep breath and take a look at what's going on, and giving myself this ability to participate in more self-care has really given me an effort to recover myself from a knee replacement surgery that's just about a year old right now. And I don't think I'd be where I am if it wasn't for this actual piece of equipment and the exercises that I've been able to do and how it's enabled me to maintain my core musculature in terms of strength and muscular endurance. Now, when we talk about recovery, we want to return to a better state. So we're going to be inactive sometimes on this Parasetter with just breath, but we're also going to be incorporating exercises. And any of you are Pilates instructors, you will recognize many of these exercises that we do in our fundamental programs in terms of exercises that will allow us to return our body back to that better state, right? So the 7 elements of hydration here, of rest and recovery are, I'm trying to move a little bar that's in my way here. And number 1 is sleep. And I can't see everyone right now because I have the PowerPoint on, but I was going to say, for a show of hands, how many can say that they get 7 to 8 hours sleep a night? I will tell you that in years past, I was one that could go on 3 hours of sleep, and I would go. But as a result of the traveling that I did, the lack of sleep that I did, things started to go wrong in my body, and my body started to break down. And I'm recognizing, especially as I'm aging, how that is probably the number 1 most important thing that we need to recover our bodies. So we should be getting no less than 7 hours of sleep. I don't have to preach on that. I think you guys all know that, as well as hydration. I have a water bottle out there, and proper nutrition. I'm mostly a plant-based eater. I'm not completely vegan, but I try to get as much plants and vegetables in my body because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. And I think in terms of now being able to move forward in my life and enhance my immune system, proper nutrition is a must for me. And I preach this to my clients every single day. Posture, good posture and alignment, because if we have poor posture, that's going to have an effect on our breathing. Stretching, being able to maintain the range of motion that we have in our joints, as well as giving us the opportunity to maintain that flexibility. And as you know, as we age, every 10 years, we're losing 10% of flexibility. That's a lot. Self-myofascial release, returning your body to a healthy, we're talking about the tissue here, returning to healthy, normal tissue. Heat, ice, compression, that helps us recover from injuries. So those are the 7 elements of rest and recovery. Okay, this doesn't want to move again. Hello, hang on 1 second. There we go. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about in terms of the exercises. But I wanted you to know that this program, and we will be available at the if you guys are going to be present at the what do we call it, the expo hall, that you can visit us. Joan will be there. I know I will be there for a few moments. But this program is accessible for you to see complete manual at all. You're going to see this right here on my screen, and you'll have access to that with some discounts. And I wanted you to know so that what you see here, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to know more, well, then you want to go to and shop and check out the manual, check out the equipment, and you'll see how wonderful it is. So with that, I'm going to read, these are all the exercises that are in the manual. I listed every single one of them. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can today. I'm going to unshare my screen right here so that you can see me back. And I see some more people came in. Well, hello to everybody, and thank you very much for coming. So I'm going to spotlight myself. You guys, I know I'm spotlighted for you. And I'm going to lower the screen, take my shirt off, and I'm going to come down to the ground, and I'm going to share with you some of the exercises and how this whole thing works. And I'll put this over here for now, and then let's go back. I just want to take a peek at gallery. Any questions so far? Let's see something in the chat. Welcome. Okay, great. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Anybody here have a Parasetter with a show of hands? Can you? No. Oh, of course, Joan. Yes, you're going to join me? I hope so. Joan, you're going to have to say a few words at the end. She's so beautiful. She really is. Thank you. All right. I'm going to get on the ground. I'm going to put my screen back to speaker so I can make sure you can see me. And I'm going to move this down a little bit even further so I think you could see this more. And then I'll get on the ground. I'm going to put some very soft music on in the background because this is rest and recovery. Let's see where I'm going to do this. And I'm going to put it on very low. It's going to be on my iPad. Let's see. Okay. So in the background, and here I am. This is my Parasetter. And I want to show you what it all entails. I'm coming up close. Notice this wrap, this long wrap. This is going to go around my rib cage. It's a nice, lovely little head support that's going to be as well. There are also a couple little minis on the floor, and I'm going to lay down on this for the first portion. We have some supine moves. We have some prone moves. We have some seated moves. I'm going to take you through a few of them and then explain what you should be feeling, what you will be feeling, and how this can challenge and even more importantly, help you rest and recover in what you can do. So I'm going to place this very simple system to set up. I place it on my mat. I open up the band like this, and I'm going to take a seat. So hopefully now you'll be able to see me. Yes, there we go. Now I'm going to start at the very edge here. And what I'm looking to do, I'm going to bring this down up a little bit more. What I'm looking to do is to align my spinal column down the center of this Parasetter. So if I am starting sitting at the very front and I'm rolling myself down, I'm going into that flexed lower base of my spine, exhaling as I'm going down. And as soon as I get down here, placing my head on this wonderful little cushion to support my head, then adding a wrap that comes around my rib cage, bring it around this way, and there's a piece of Velcro that keeps this in place. This should come down just a little bit more. I'm going to slide it down a little bit so it's even. And now I am completely secure. I feel like I'm getting a gentle hug. So those of you that are huggers, this feels really amazing. So the thing I want to explain that's happening here is my spinal column is free right now. And now these rollers are on either side of my spinal column, enabling those muscles to become effective in stabilizing my spine so that I can maintain that neutral posture. And in this position here, I'm just going to let my arms come to the ground. I'm going to make sure that my legs are parallel right now and my entire surface of my foot is in contact with the ground. So I'm speaking to myself like, can I feel the pad of my big toe? Can I feel the pad of my pinky toe? Can I feel the pad of my heel? And do I feel my arches lifting or are they collapsing in? I'm just taking that time to kind of do a scan of my body. What's going on with my lower abdominal muscles here? If I breathe in 360 degrees wide, then as I exhale, can I feel those muscles working and feel that spinal column remaining stable? So I talked about that 4 to 6 breath. We inhale for 4 counts, and then we exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to do 3. You can join me if you'd like. Inhale, 2, 3, and 4. And then exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to be quiet for a few moments. I'm going to have you take 3 deep breaths on that 4 to 6 pattern of breathing. Palms can be up or palms can be down. I prefer to have my palms up. So let's breathe in for 3, 4, and then exhale. Feel the abdominal muscles expand side to side. Feel the abdominal muscles begin to contract. You're feeling that torso widen and deepen. We're going to do 2 more of these. Breath in, 4 counts. Exhale, 6 counts. Another inhale. Just really relaxing, closing your eyes, maybe if you'd like to close your eyes and just do some visualization. We're going to do a few more, and then we're going to start to add some movement. So obviously we are in a supine position here. So I'm going to start with palms open. I'm going to lift the arms up and float them to the side, turn the palms down, and exhale, bring the arms back. So I'm going to continue with that rhythmic pattern. Inhale, palms up. I want to feel like my arms are floating through space, and exhale, down. Let's do 2 more of these. Inhale, they come up. Exhale, they come down. We're going to do one more here. I keep looking, thinking, and maybe I could see you, but I don't. Exhale, and hoping you're with me on these. Beautiful. We're going to do one more of these. Inhale, and then exhale, and allow the arms to come down by your side. I'm going to turn my palms up. We're going to play a little bit with the pelvis here. So let's do a little bit of pelvic rocking, taking a deep breath in, feeling the expansion of the abdominals, and as you exhale, feeling the pelvic floor muscles front to back, side to side, drawing inward, feeling the spinal column imprint itself against the beautiful Parasetter, and then inhale, release that. And then we exhale again. We're going to do 4. That was 1. Exhale. Find the pelvic floor muscles. Feel the pubic bone moving towards your breastbone. And then as you inhale, release and let the pubic bone move away, returning back to neutral. We'll do 2 more of these. We exhale, we round the lower base of the spine by focusing on those pelvic floor muscles. And then release. We'll do 2 more of these. Here comes 1. Exhale. This should feel good just doing this without a Parasetter. But with the Parasetter, what I'm gaining is that wonderful muscle activation of the spinal column to stabilize as I'm doing this. Now let's focus on the upper postural area for a moment. So keeping my palms facing the ceiling, I want to focus on the muscles that surround the scapula. I'm going to pull the scapula towards the center midline of my body. I feel my chest open up, and I'm almost feeling like I can hug the Parasetter with both of my shoulder blades and then release it. And we're going to do that on the exhale. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, pull the shoulder blades towards one another. You feel a nice openness. You'll also feel your elbows coming a little bit towards your body as you do this. I'm going to do that again. Breathe in, exhale, pull. It's hard for you to see, but I'm pulling my scapula towards the midline and then release it. I'm going to do 1 more. Perfect. Now let's start to add some arms. So I'm going to bring my arms closer to my body. As I inhale, I'm breathing in, the spinal column's extending mildly. I feel a slight little extension in the spine. Then as I exhale, I'm going to bring it back to neutral as I lower my arms back down. I'm going to do that again. Inhale, lifting the arms up. And then exhale, lowering the arms down. So as I'm inhaling, I'm feeling the rib cage stay put. I'm not allowing that rib cage to raise. If you look at me, that's excessive. We don't want to be excessive here. I want to bring the arms back down to my side. I'm going to do that 1 more time before we play with 1 arm. And the whole goal here is to really focus on what your body is doing and trying to concentrate on you, giving yourself the opportunity to center yourself. Let's take 1 arm up. Inhaling, and then exhaling, and then take the other arm up. Inhale, and then exhale. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, the arm comes up. Exhale, the arm comes down. We have 1 more here. Inhale. Perfect. And then let's take both for the last time. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come back down. And then we're going to start to think about placing our hands right on the top of our legs here. And I want you to think about the motion that we do when we walk. So if I place my hands right on top of my thighs, I'm going to push one leg slightly forward. I'm going to feel it's my right leg that I'm pushing forward slightly, and I'm feeling my left hip move up. So I'm creating this walking action and a sliding of my pelvis. And I'm inhaling and exhaling with each movement, feeling that lovely stride-like action that's taking place without me having to move my feet. Now I am feeling some movement on the sole of my feet, but I'm making sure that the pads of my big toe, pinky toe, and heels are staying put. And I'm just applying gentle pressure. If you see one knee is kind of moving slightly forward and the other slightly forward on the other side as well. We're going to do 1 more of these. I love this. This just feels so great, especially on my back. I can feel the stretching and contraction of what the Pelvis is going through that movement. I'm going to take my hands down. Now, for those of you, Pilates, we're going to move into some knee folds. So knee folds is creating a relationship between the hip flexor, the iliopsoas, right, and your transverse abdominals, the lower abdominals. So what we're going to do is take one leg, and as we exhale, we're going to draw that leg up, focusing on the abdominal muscles to pull that leg up to a 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to bring that back down as I inhale. I'm going to do that one more time on this side. I'm going to exhale as I bring it up, and then inhale as I lower. I can even play with the breath here. I can maybe inhale here, and then exhale lower, and I'm trying to bring that shin to a parallel position. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to begin with an exhale as I bring it up to parallel, and I'm keeping everything stable, and then I'm going to lower down here on that inhale. Exhale. Now the other leg, I really want to think what's going on with the other leg. I don't want it to sway out to the side. I'm gently pushing the surface of the foot of this leg into the ground. I'm going to do it inhale now. So breathe in, find the shin parallel to the ceiling, and then release, trying to keep everything else stable. So from your pubic bone all the way up, you are keeping everything stable. Last one here. Beautiful. Now, on this next one, I'm going to bring up my right leg on the exhale. I'm going to do the same thing on the other. Exhale, pull the leg up. I'm going to hold those legs together. And while the legs are here, I'm going to drop one leg down. Inhale. I'm going to flex my foot. Exhale, pull the leg up. Feels completely different than what we just did. Inhale. Flex the foot, lift the knee up. Perfect. And then I'm going to bring one leg down to the ground. I'm going to extend this leg out. Exhale, pull the leg back, and then bring it back down to center. For me, this is a really big exercise in rehabilitation for my knee to get my range of motion back. Exhale, bring it here. Extend out on the inhale. I'm flexing the foot here. Exhale, pull it back to center, and then lower back down to the ground. We can also do extension directly on the floor, sliding the heel out, pulling the heel in to gain a little bit more hamstring as we pull in, placing the foot down, lifting the other heel up, sliding the leg out, inhale. So we can work with these fundamentals in such a wonderful way, getting feedback. And I think that's maybe not the word I made mention of before, but the Parasetter gives me so much feedback. I can literally feel the muscles stabilizing in my body a lot more than if I was not on the ground. And as you know, all of these exercises can be done on the floor, but what an enhanced experience one can get by doing these exercises on the Parasetter itself. Great. So we're going to go into a little bit of spinal flexion now. So I'm going to reach my fingertips towards the heels of my feet, opening up my heart, right? As I exhale, I'm going to do a cervical nod first, breathing out, lifting my head up gently, and I come back down on the inhale. We'll do that one more time. Breathe in as I exhale, nod the chin towards my chest, carefully lift the head, let it float up as I'm drawing through those lower abdominal muscles here, lowering back down. And then I'm going to slide the fingertips towards my heels. Exhale, come up a little bit more, reaching. And wow, I can feel that lower back imprinting into the Parasetter, but feeling complete support on either side of my spine and coming back down to that little headrest right there and letting my shoulders relax. We're going to try that again. Take a breath in. The chin comes to my chest. As I exhale, I breathe out, find the pelvic floor muscles, draw the rib cage in, reach the fingertips towards the toes, and then roll yourself all the way back down again. One last time here. Take a breath in, cervical nod, pull the abdominal muscles in, slide the fingertips towards the heels, feel the lower abdominal muscles come into play as we roll all the way back down to the mat. Awesome. Nice job. So now we're going to take one knee all the way into our chest. We're going to pull it all the way in, hold it here, and then we're going to lift the upper body to meet, hold, and then we're going to keep the upper body here, lower one leg, and then lower all the way back down to the mat. I'm going to bring the other knee into our chest, pull it all the way in, hold, lifting the upper body, lowering the leg and letting the upper body go down. Again, so we've seen this exercise lots of times, right? Exhale, pull the knee in, variation of a knee fold, pull in a little bit more, to almost like we're doing single leg stretch, right? Pull it in, exhale, in, and then release. I'm going to bring it all the way back down and take a nice deep breath in. So I want to move into the heel slides now and working opposite. So I'm going to start with my right leg heel. I'm going to slide it out and let my left arm come overhead. So I'm feeling that length between both, watching and make sure that the shoulder blade is pulling down my back. And I'm going to glide the leg back in at the same time the arm is coming down to come back to that parallel position. Let's slide the leg out and reach all the way up. Inhaling as we go out. Exhale to bring it back in. Let's do that one more time. Reach, slide one leg all the way out. Exhale, pull it in. Really think about the lower abdominal. It's so easy to just pull this leg in and not think about the movement and not allow the core muscles to work. Here, as I'm sliding the leg out, I'm feeling the length occur, and I'm feeling what's happening on either side of my spinal column as I'm pulling the arm and leg back to center. Perfect. Nice job. We're going to move to tabletop position now. So for the tabletop position, we're going to keep both feet on the ground to begin. My hands are going to be by my side. Tabletop is a tough position for many clients, mainly because of the fact that it's core, it's 100% of the core, having to hold their legs up there, and it forces their spinal column to extend. It's hard for you to see here with this rib thing on me right now, but I'm going to pull one leg up to tabletop, right? Now the other leg I'm going to focus on the breath. Inhale through my nose. Exhale, draw the other leg up to meet to that beautiful tabletop position. And as we know, the closer the legs are to us, the more hip flexion we have, and we feel the pelvis changing position. When we move the legs away from us, there's more potential strain to the lower back. We want to be at a position where their legs are at a 90-degree angle from knee to hip to ankle. And we're going to hold here. We're going to look straight up at the ceiling. Palms can be down or up, your choice. But feel what's going on here. Even if those of you that don't have the Parasetter, just feel what's going on here. Feel that what your body wants to do. I have more of a lordotic spine. So my spine wants to arch more. I have to really think about keeping my ribs. That's the beauty of my rib wrap. It's forcing me to become aware of where my ribs are here. I'm going to take a head turn to the right, and I'm going to leave my hands on the ground to start. So I'm going to go to one side, just turning my head. I'm going to come back to the center, and I'll look to the other side. And I'm thinking, what's happening with the muscles in my body to maintain stability from hip to knee to ankle? Because as I turn my head, my knees want to move, or my hips are allowing that to happen. I'm trying to stay very stable here. I'm going to come back. Beautiful. I'm going to hold that position. I'm going to drop one knee to the floor like we did before. I'm going to take a nice deep breath here. As I exhale, I'm really focusing on the lower abdominal muscles, pulling that knee in. I want to feel my pelvic floor engage. I want to feel that my sacrum stays on that Parasetter. Couldn't get the word out of my mouth for a second. Inhale, thinking about my next thing. Exhale, come back in. I'm going to do one more. Just really focusing on what's happening here. And you can feel those back extensors having to stabilize here as those hips are moving. Our breath is helping us as we do this. I know we did this exercise before. We're going to do one more because we're heading into another one here. We're going to come down here. Beautiful. And now we're going to take our legs, open up the knees. The soles of your feet are together. Carefully take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower the outside edges of your feet down to the ground. If you felt that was too difficult, you might want to do one leg at a time. This I love. And I begin every single morning with this stretch right here on my Parasetter, just relaxing, putting on some nice soft music, breathing in and breathing out, and just allowing those hip flexors to open up and relax and feeling relief to the lower base of my spine. Feels really good. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to close the knees, place the feet on the ground, slide the legs in a little bit more, either one leg at a time or both comes up to heels together and toes apart. Relaxing your arms to your side here, making sure that the rib cage is intact. We're going to push out with both legs to a frog, extending both legs, feeling those abdominal muscles pull into support. Bend your knees back to the point that the knees are at 90 degrees. I'm not going to come all the way in here. It is a nice, wonderful stretch. But for now, I'm just working through the action of extending through the knee joint, inner thighs working to come together, coming back to maintain the neutral spine. I'm going to do 4 more of those. Exhale, push away. That was number 1, holding on to those abdominals deeply. Come back in. Here comes number 2. Exhale, press away. So here we're getting very much into Pilates leg work, like we would do, whether it's in a mat class or on a reformer. 1 more. Exhale, push all the way out. Beautiful. Coming back in. And then we're going to lower the legs down to the ground, either together or one at a time, bringing the legs back to parallel position, placing your feet on the ground. And those of you Pilates guys out there, Pilates gals and guys, I should say, right? Find your neutral spine. Let's do some footwork here. Let's take both toes and lift them off the ground, ankle flexion, and then come back, lifting your heels off the ground. Try to maintain the pelvis in neutral. So I'm lifting the toes up, feet come down to the ground, lifting the heels up, coming back down, toes are up, lift up again. Perfect, that looks great. We're going to do 2 more of these. Last one coming up here. And now here comes the fun part. The fun part is when we alternate. So I'm going to have you take one leg, lift the toe of one, and then lift the heel of the other. And this is a nice little brain game here. And then we switch. We do the other. Toes up, heel up. Drop one heel, lift the toes, drop the toes, lift the heels. And alternate. This is really a fun exercise, giving nice ankle mobility. But if you're placing your hands onto your hip joint, you start to feel those intrinsic muscles that lie underneath the pelvis working here. Great. And now from here, let's do a little bit of a march. So we're going to lift the legs off the ground, and I'm still keeping my hands on my pelvis to feel that action of that march. And then I can do a little bit of a prance. So a little bit, making it a little bit quicker. Again, forcing the spinal column to stabilize and me becoming more aware and teaching. This is literally teaching my body what it should be doing. And then I'm going to take both feet to the ground. I'm going to jump both feet. This is my favorite, jump. And I feel, wow, I'm really feeling which side is stronger and which is not, and which I feel I have to stabilize more on. But this is really a fun exercise to give you a sense of where your body is in time and space. I like to end this one with my diamond. So I'm just going to let my legs open up, and I give myself a little bit of a rock from side to side. And these wonderful rollers, oh my goodness, they just feel so good. I can just close my eyes and fall asleep here. So I'm going to move into some hip extension next, because everything we did before was primarily hip flexion. What we need to do is extend those hips as well. I'm going to keep the rib wrap on for part of it and take the rib wrap off for some of the others. So I'm going to keep my feet about hip width apart here, knees bent, and I'm going to hold on to the Parasetter here, just my thumbs here, so it doesn't come off, and my fingertips are on the ground. And I'm going to do a neutral bridge. So I'm not rolling up. I'm going to be lifting my hips up just mildly in the beginning, so I'm not coming up too far yet. Palms are towards the floor, and my elbows are still on the ground. And I'm going to lower myself down, unhinging from my hip. I'm going to come back up because you notice I still have my headpiece on. I'm going to take the rib wrap off in a moment, and we can go a little bit more higher. But right now, what I'm looking for is hip extension here. Take a breath in. I'm going to push using the gluteals to lift up and then come back down, using the abdominal muscles as I exhale to lift. We're going to do one more of these. Lift straight up. Awesome. And then I'm going to take the rib wrap, unwrap it, so that I can come up, move my headpiece out of the way a little bit more. This way, my head is on the beam. And feet hip width apart, hinging up a little bit higher now, giving me the ability to move into some other exercises. Now, as I'm coming down, I'm thinking about that line, that central line in the middle of the Parasetter. I'm going to pull my feet in just a little bit more here. I'm going to lift up, hold, come back down, and on my next one, I'm going to start to add some leg action. So I'm going to push into the heels of my feet. I'm going to extend one leg out, kick the leg up. We know this one. Push the hip up, lower down, bend the knee, and then come back, unhinging from my hip. Doing that again, lifting up. I'm going to extend the other leg out, kick that leg up, bring it back down, bend the knee, and then bring it back down to the mat. I'm going to pull the knees into my chest here, lift the upper body, and I'm balancing on this Parasetter here, which can be difficult depending on individuals and how steady their spinal column is. I'm going to pull myself a little bit more to get a nice little low back stretch. Then I'm going to let the upper body come down first. Then I'll line my head along the center line, move my legs to a tabletop position. Great. And I'm going to place my feet on the ground, and I'm going to extend my legs out. I'm going to go over the rollover later, but let's attempt to do this. Now both arms are here, both legs up, because we're going to be moving to a kneeling position next, which is my favorite. So I'm going to take a deep breath. Chin is going to come to my chest. I'm going to roll myself up. Wow, I'm going to balance, balance, balance. I can feel my body wanting to pull to one side. Once I am up here, I'm going to come to a kneeling position. All right, so I'm going to keep the rib wrap on for now, so it's here. I'm just going to do a quick check over here to see if I have any questions so far. And no, nothing yet. All right, so I'm going to come to a kneeling position. I'm going to start in quadruped. I'm going to fold this in half so it's out of my way. This is probably, let me come down to the ground. I need to raise my screen up a little bit. When we come to kneeling, this is probably one of the best characteristics that I love about this program, is the ability to be able to kneel on something to protect the knees. I'm going to slide this off for now, and I'm going to bring it here and bring myself more back. So here I am on the Parasetter. Oh my gosh. Someone who, I'm sure many of you have clients that have difficulty kneeling. I'm one of those clients that have difficulty kneeling, and now I am able to kneel comfortably, but at the same time create that reaction type of atmosphere for the body to really get an idea of where it is in time and space. All those proprioceptors are working in a really positive way here. So I'm going to start in an all fours position, quadruped. And if you notice, there's these two other little minis that we have here. The front of them look exactly like a Parasetter, front and the back, flat. Right? So I'm going to use flat side up, and I'm going to put my hands here. Now I'm going to bring something up. Some individuals might have, I'm going to actually do this on an angle so you guys can see me better, much better this way, right? So you can see. There are individuals who have wrist issues. So the beauty of flipping it to the other side, I have found, is that I can have them slide the heels of their hands forward. So look at how much less of an angle in my wrist that I get. So these are fabulous for those individuals also that have wrist issues. So we can just flip it over the other side. I'm choosing to use it flat, but if I see that there are individuals that have wrist issues, I will suggest that they flip it over and slide the heel of their hand a little bit more forward. So coming to a flat position here, heels of my knees are on the Parasetter. I'm going to make sure that my shoulders and my wrists are in line with one another. I'm just going to go into a simple cat-cow. So my eyes are going to be straight ahead. My tops of my feet are in contact with the mat. I'm going to take a deep breath, and as I exhale, I'm going to push away from the minis and allow my head to drop down. And I want to feel the abdominal muscles pulling in. I'm going to release to cow. So I'm going to let my belly drop a bit, but I'm not going to let go of my scapular stabilization. And as I exhale, I'm going to round up again. I'm going to do 4 of these. And then inhale. I'm going to come back to neutral this time and just look straight ahead, holding on to those abdominals, keeping my spine in its neutral state. I'm going to exhale, round up again like a cat. Inhale to release it. I'm going to do one more exhale round. This feels so amazing. And I'm going to shift my body forward and shift my body back. No different than a plank position and doing a shift forward and back, or what do we call a reformer? The long stretch, right? Coming back and forth. Awesome. Next, I'm going to start to move a little bit. This is my favorite. In the manual, this is called Dancer. And I love the ability of shifting my weight and creating this lovely feeling of rocking my body in all different directions and feeling the core. Here's the beauty of this exercise. Yes, obviously you're feeling this in the shoulders, but what is happening in the anterior and posterior musculature is amazing. I could do this all day, as you can see. I don't want to stop doing this. This is one of my favorites. But then we can also do the wonderful bird dog or opposite arm, opposite leg lift. So I'm going to begin by extending out my left leg first. I'm going to reach for that heel and push back, and then give myself a little bit of a push away from the minis, especially with that left hand that it's the same as the leg that's behind me. I'm going to reach out. I'm really thinking about those abdominal muscles here. I can even feel my hip flexors kicking in here. Take a breath and extending. And as I exhale, I lift the leg up, hold, and then I can lower at the same time, or one versus the other. And that's pretty challenging because my knee is not on a stable surface here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to extend the right leg out, push through that heel, push away from the mini with my right hand, extend out with the left, and then lift that leg up and hold. Beautiful. Come back down. I'm going to add a cat-cow here. So take a breath, exhale. I'm going to round my spine up like a cat again. I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I'm going to take left leg back, press away with the left hand on the mini, reach, extend the leg back, bring it back in, and then do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm extending back, reaching out, lifting the leg, lowering, come it back down, and then round my spine up like a cat, and then release. And the reason I'm doing that, rounding my spine up like a cat, because the next one, I call it the knee stretch. It is a lift off, but if we're on the reformer, if we think about taking a deep breath in, exhale, lifting my knees off the floor, rounding my spine into spinal flexion, and then lowering everything back and come back and looking forward, maintaining that nice engagement of the core. I'm going to do that one more time. Exhale, push away from both the minis to stabilize the scapula. Take a breath, exhale, lift the knees off the mat. Drop the chin forward towards your chest, round your spine up, hold, 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 hold. We can actually move forward and back with this as well, keeping the same bend in the knee. Come back down, and release. Awesome. I'm going to take a break by kneeling upright for a second to release the wrist, because there's one more I want to show you. I may not do as many of those in a row, just for the fact that it is kind of difficult on the wrist for many people. So I would choose one or two exercises. I want to show you one more because I want to go into a hamstring kickback. So I'm going to shake out my wrist, or this is another little thing I do with my clients. We take it this way, reaching over this way. All right, coming back down and kneeling. This is a balance exercise in itself. What I try to do also is I try to lift both of my feet off the ground. This helped me in gaining more flexion in my knee, because I went into my knee surgery. Well, every normal person has about 130 degrees of flexion in your knee. When I went into knee surgery, I only had 88 degrees of flexion. I'm now up to 115, which is awesome. And some of it is just by forcing myself to lift my hamstring, use my hamstring to lift my feet off the back of this, keeping my hips forward, which is difficult. And I can't believe that I can do it now, and I can actually hold it. So it really worked really well for me. I'm going to come back down. We're going to finish off that last exercise. The hands are going to go forward here, right? I'm going to take a deep breath in and exhale, push away, extend one leg back, extend the other arm out. I'm going to lift one leg up, and then I'll work into hamstring work. So it's hip extension, but I'm forcing some dynamic movement now. So instead of just being stable, by forcing my knee to bend and extend, I'm creating a little bit more proprioception activity in the core muscles of the body. So I'm going to do a little cat stretch in between. Come back in, extend one leg back, reach the other arm out, lift that leg up, holding those abdominal muscles in. Again, pulling in and out and maintaining the height of that back leg so it stays there. Great. And release. Cat stretch again. And now what we're going to do is come up to kneeling upright and creating some hinging at your hip. Now, my hinging is going to be minimal because I don't have all of that, but I'm going to begin with what we call a thigh stretch, because this is another great exercise to stretch out the hips. So I'm going to keep my hands on my hips to start, tops of my feet into the ground. I'm going to breathe in as I lean back. My eyes are forward, finding that stretch all the way through the front of the quadriceps. This one's not in your manual. This is one that I do all the time that I love. And most of you know this. If you're working Pilates, this is one of great exercise that I find also teaches the body to understand neutral spine in a standing upright position. Adding arms might make it a little bit more challenging. I like to add rotation to this. Bring one arm back, touch the heel of the opposite side. For me, I get so excited when I do this because I never could do this before. And now after having the knee replacement and all of these exercises that I'm doing, sometimes I'll take it back, reach, let the arm sweep all the way up, and then come up back to center and do the same thing here, reaching back, coming back to center. Now here, I'm going to hold my arms out. Notice my thumbs are out, externally rotated to my shoulders. I'm going to hinge back a little bit. Hinge, hinge. Now, some of you will be able to go back. Now, I'm not rounding my spine. I'm keeping my torso lifted, coming back up so that we can bring ourselves back to that neutral posture. I'm going to come down here again. And then lift one last time. Hinging back. I'm hinging just from the hinge joint. I use the term hand sandwich in my classes. That's what students think. And then we'll circle the arms around. So I'm trying some balance here. Reversing arm circles this way. Great. And then another favorite of mine is walking. Walking along the beam. Now, this would be very difficult for me to do on a flat surface on the floor without a padded surface because of my knee scars from the knee surgery. But there's a lot of individuals that have cartilage issues that walking or kneeling, kneel walk is what I call this, is very difficult. Here they can do this and allow for some proprioception again, as well as giving the ability of your body to react and create some nice challenges for this as well. Awesome. I see that something came in. I'm going to do a quick check here from SC during the break. Stop. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's okay. Please do stop by the sponsor booth and see our wonderful Ashley Benson, who'll be showing some of the other products that we also offer, as well as this. All right. So we finished off with our arm circles and our walking. We're going to go into some lunging. So from lunging, I'm going to do it from the kneeling. I'm going to move my minis just a little bit wider here. So what I love about this, balance. I have to really think about what I need to do to bring one knee off of the Parasetter and then bring it to the front. My hands are going to be on my hips. I'm going to create a nice right angle. I can either have the top of my foot to the floor or curled under, whichever feels best for you. I'm going to hinge forward, press forward, and come back. This has been another great exercise for me in terms of gaining more flexibility in the back of the knee. Now, I never want the knee to go beyond my toes. So I'm hinging forward and back. So I'm going to do that one more time. Pause, come to that beautiful upright position. My thumbs are going to come up, and I'm going to drop the shoulders, opening up the heart, pull the chin back slightly, and I'm going to let my eyes start the movement and start to twist to one side. And then I'm going to come back and do the same thing on the other side. Twist to the other side. Feel a great hip flexor stretch on one side. That's the beauty of this. Nice. Awesome. So now the hard part, right, is to come back to the beam, right? Come back. Woo, yay. No, not so good practice. Good for balance, good for proprioception. Do the same thing on the other side. The leg comes up, right? 90-degree angle between the heel and knee. And then I'm going to use the arms out this time. So I'm going to hinge forward here. So I'm feeling a little bit more hip extension. You could even raise the arms up if you choose, right? So it could be here. Again, creating balance. I feel completely different on this side. So it's really interesting how you can take note of how muscles are different on each side of your body, because whatever flexibility or strength you have at one joint does not dictate what it's going to be at another. But working this way and making sure that we're equally working on both sides allows us to get to that point to achieve that, right? Arms out, coming back to that neutral spine, thumbs are up. I'm going to twist towards that knee as I exhale, come back to the center. I'll do the same thing to the opposite side. Coming back, and then we're going to come into the wonderful mermaid. So we're going to be seated on the beam. I'm going to bring my leg back. I'm just going to turn to the side. All right, so as I turn to the side, notice how my hip is on the Parasetter. I'm going to bring the leg, cross it over the top. It's beautiful. Here's where you really can take note. You actually get to look at the Parasetter here and see the wonderful rollers here, followed by the seam, kind of lining my hip on this position. And I'm going to start with one hand on my shin, reaching one arm up. I'm going to go into a side bend. So lateral flexion here, reaching over to the side. And then I'm going to place my hand on the ground and sweep the other arm overhead, reaching over. And I'm trying not to lift off my hip too much, trying to keep that back hip down, anchored onto not completely on the Parasetter because it's narrow. Coming back to the center, I'm going to reach. I'm going to try to go a little deeper the second time. I'm going to come back up and stretch all the way over. And when I come back this third time, I'm going to add a twist. Why? Because we need to work our body through all three planes of motion, right? So as I exhale, I'm going to bring the arm under, twist and look under, bending this elbow a little bit. Coming back up, looking up to the ceiling first. Making sure the shoulder is down on the opposite side and reach up. We'll do that one more time. I'm going to take my arm a little further this time. Reach out, tuck under, feels great. Come back up, reach to the ceiling, and then bring the arms right back. Nice job. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we pull the legs together, go to this side. Same exact thing, knee and hip are on the beam. And I'm going to keep one hand on the ground. And I'm going to just move this over to here. My arm is going to reach up. Here I go into a mild side bend first, lateral flexion. And then I come up to the side and stretch. We'll do this again, and then we'll go a little further. I'll move the arm a little further out so that I can go into my twist. I'm going to sweep the arm out a little bit more, stretch up, reach under. Oop, there goes my earpiece. So I'm stretching under, then coming back up, looking up. Coming back and stretching to the side. And do that one more time. Reach out, stretch, twist, arm comes under, keeping my hips fairly anchored. Reach, and then come all the way back up. Nice. So now we're going to go into seated. So I'm going to turn this under me, sit on some fun here. And we're getting close. So I'm going to move a little bit more quicker because I want to get to some of the standing stuff so you can see, but you're getting a good idea of what you can do on this. In the supine position, when we were laying down, we could be doing hundreds. We can do a number of other things. We could do leg circles. I may get to a couple of those, but I want you to see this seated because this is so wonderful. So when I'm seated, because the average client that we all have today, so much sitting, especially during COVID, hip flexors are so shortened that there's a lack of hamstring flexibility to sit upright. So they're typically sitting in this position, right? I'm going to try to go into diagonal here just so you can see this a little better. There we go. So as soon as I sit on something, that elevates my hips up a little bit, giving me the opportunity to be able to sit up on my sits bones correctly and maintain that tall posture that we want to do here. So this is such a comfortable, it's like no different than maybe rolling up a yoga mat. So if you also teach yoga, these are great to do. I actually like to do my yoga seated positions and supine positions on this as well. So I'm going to hold these on their side here. And what's really nice is I can slide these out and I can come forward to what feels comfortable for everyone, right? If they need to bend their knees slightly, they can. And then I come back up, sitting up. I'm going to take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, the chin is coming to the chest and I'm reaching towards my feet. I'm going to come back again. And I'm going to go just a little bit further. And if I have the ability, I can flatten out these and go a little bit deeper. Again, that's all going to depend on the hamstring flexibility of our individuals. Right? I'm going to put these back here. I'm going to reach my arms out. I'm going to take a deep breath. Notice I bent my knees a little bit. And I'm also going to scoot myself up a little bit more so I'm not at the very back edge here. Because I'm going to go into some spinal flexion here. I'm going to move into the teaser. This is a hard one. As you exhale, you're going to roll the tailbone under, and we're not going into teaser yet. We're going into some spinal flexion here and sit upright on your sits bones. I'm going to do that again. Exhale. This actually feels really good, and it's actually a great place to start some individuals. So if they're on a mat, in a mat class, and they're limited by the hamstring flexibility, maybe start them here in a seated position. You can do some twisting work here as well, right? What I'm going to try to do is go into a teaser, hard, difficult position, right? So I'm going to bring my legs in and try to, and it takes a little bit of managing where you want to be here. I'm going to balance. I'm going to hold my abdominal muscles in and extend both legs. Whew. We're getting there. Not so easy, right? And I'm going to reach the arms out. Whew. To focus. Yes. Come back in. Not so easy, is it? Right? We could also do this vertical. Right? So we can lay down here. Start down. Here. And breath in. Chin comes to your chest. I like to circle the arms around. Exhale. Reach those legs outward, and come up. And then come all the way back down. Whoa! Not so easy. And we have it here. So playing with it here needs a little bit more of playing around of where you need to be seated. Woo! But that's what happens. That's not a bad thing. To me, error analysis. What did I do wrong? I wasn't sitting in the right. It takes practice. And so that's what I love about it. It gives me a little bit of an opportunity, not a little bit, a lot of opportunity to challenge my core by doing all those different exercises. So we can also take these behind us and we can still sit here and do leg pull back. What I love about this one is leg pull back is a very difficult exercise. I'm already elevated. I'm keeping a parallel stance. My elbows are slightly bent. I'm going to lift myself up to here, and now I get a beautiful leg pull back stretch, which is not as difficult as doing this when we're doing it from the ground. I'm going to slide the arms back a little bit more so I can get a little bit further up, and I can kick one leg up, and I can kick the other leg up, and back and seated. Whew. And what is my favorite stretch? The diamond stretch. I can put these on either side and just rest and take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale the breath out. So I'm going to roll sit up. We have a few more minutes here. I want to go into, I'm just looking at my notes. I want to do a little bit of leg circles that you can see supine. Then I want to take it up to a standing position because I want you to see just what we can do standing as well. So if I take this back to this lengthened position now, right, I'm going to go back to putting this on. I would probably put the rib back on. I want my head supported here. So imagine that I have the rib wrap around on this. I'm going to come back and I'm going to utilize the roller to roll down. Rolling down. I love the massage that I'm getting as I come down. So I'm going to place my hands on the ground. I'm going to pull both knees to tabletop. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take both legs to the ceiling. And I'm going to rotate my hips out slightly, toes apart. So we could do a little bit of abduction here. I'm going to flex my feet, pull the legs in. I could do one leg at a time. I love the one leg at a time because you really feel the action of either side of your body. You're feeling that quadratus lumborum. You feel all those muscles in the side of your body. You can take both legs out. You can do circles and circle back. You can bring one leg down and you could do one leg circles. So, and I'm emphasizing keeping a steady leg and the foot planted firmly on the ground, and then go the other direction. And we do the same thing here. Let me move those out of the way, take my leg up to the ceiling, slight rotation. I'm really emphasizing what's going on with the other leg in as much as this leg is circling back and forth. Pulling both knees in, straight legs to the ceiling. How about corkscrew? Circle here, come back to center, and circle around, coming back to center. So I'm inhaling in one direction, exhale, and then one last one coming up.
Here's your
Perfect.
10-minute warning, June.
Thank you very much. Bring your knees into your chest. We have 10 minutes left. So I'm going to bring my upper body to my knees, give myself a little rock, just a little rock back and forth. I feel that nice little massage, maybe an opening up the knees when I'm doing that little rock. That feels so good. Bring the knees back together. Rock and roll myself up. I'm going to come to a standing position on here. So I'm going to move these minis out of the way, and I'm actually going to pick up the Parasetter and take off the little headrest. I'm going to raise my screen, and I'm going to put this up so you guys can see me a little bit more. I'm going to start. All right. Simple as great postural, put it that way, postural awareness. I want to make sure that you can see me, so I'm going to bring this down because I want you to see my feet as well. I'm going to step back here. All right. So simple as putting my thumbs into the center, arms come forward, standing nice and tall, weight even on both feet, abdominals in, finding the pad under the big toe, pinky toe, and I'm going to raise the beam up. I'm going to lower the beam back down. I'm really focusing on where I am in time and space, on my shoulders even. I like to do this in front of the mirror. This is really important to me. Again, I'm going to lift up again. Now I'm going to rise up to the balls of my feet. I'm going to keep it down first, rise up, come back down, reach overhead, and come back down. I'm going to rise up, come back down, lift up. I love it as a tool here. Great. I can also do turnout, right? Plie. Inner thighs come together. I can take one leg here, right? Raise up. So now I'm balancing on one leg. Balance on one leg and do the same thing on the other side. There you go. Reach. Then I can take this wonderful Parasetter behind my back. So I've got some lumbar support here, right? My shoulders are rotated open. In a parallel position, I get a nice twist here, side to side. Exhaling as I'm going from one side to the other. I can do exactly what I did with the leg before. So I've got one leg here, side, or I can come back to parallel and lift one leg up, right? And twist towards that knee that's in the front and then come back. So nice balance work here. That's really cool. And I can also take it behind my back. I love this one. So I'm holding it here, so you can see. Right? Obviously, we'll have to switch hands in between, right? So I have it vertical. I can do my releve and my lower. I can go into first position and lift up and then lower. Beautiful. Or I'm going to go sideways here. I can take it into a lunge. I lunge back, hold that lunge, bring it back to center, and do it again, stepping back. So I like to do this one in mirror so I can see that my body is lined up. I used to do these with poles in my classes, and now I have this wonderful piece to be able to do it this way. And I could also do some balancing. So I can go wide here, plie. Now I would also change my hands. I'll do that now so that you can see. Change my hands and plie. Now I can push off here. Now I haven't taken the complete weight off yet. Balance, weight up. Now if I do star, I reach, lift, and bend. Come back, bend, push off, balance. I love this. I'm keeping everything still. I'm gently pressing my head against the Parasetter. We come up. Awesome. Nice job. Nice job. I'm going to come to the camera and chat with you guys and see if you have any questions. You gallery, see who's still here. Everybody's still here. What'd you think? You can turn your cameras on. I'd like to see your faces. And I would love to hear any comments. Isn't it a great, I mean, I feel amazing, totally amazing. And I didn't even go over everything. I couldn't. We don't have enough time. The beauty is that it creates a sensory awareness for you, for your brain to connect to your body. And how important is that? You have to really think. You cannot have your mind wander. Your body has to completely focus and concentrate on what you're doing with the task at hand. Not to mention, it gives individuals ability to feel things they didn't feel before. And on top of that, making some exercises easier and more comfortable to do, where some shied away because they felt, oh, I can't do that because I can't kneel. Oh, I can't do that because I can't sit upright. Oh, I can't. It is such an amazing tool. I have to say, if it wasn't for COVID, it is how I introduced some of this into classes, on our mat classes. An easy product for them to purchase, an easy product for them to implement, and an easy way for you to add some new material to your classes, but also give them the ability to give them what they need, self-care, to take care of themselves, feel good about themselves. Let the parasympathetic system, so that we want to slow the heart rate down, we want to relax the body a little bit more. This is a way of doing that, but yet at the same exact time, being able to gain more control over those core muscles and becoming more aware of how they really do function in life outside of having to think about it. And as we all know, everything that we do in a class, we do consciously. We're especially we as teachers, we're teaching them consciously something to do. But what we're looking for them to achieve is subconscious results. So everything we do consciously is to result in subconscious results, so that when they walk out of your class, whether they're online or whether they're in the studio, they become more conscious of, or the body becomes more natural at doing what it's supposed to, and it starts to heal. And I think that's really important. And as we age, oh my goodness, we so need this as we age. When I think back, I went skiing I went to Telluride last weekend, and I've been skiing since I was 17 years old. And as I was going up a lift, this image came up to me. It's like, I remember saying to myself, I wonder if I'll be able to do this at 70. That was me, the 20-year-old self. Am I saying that? I remember saying that to myself. I'm 67 and I'm still skiing. I'm skiing because I can do all the things that I can. And you have the power to empower your clients and your students to do things for the rest of their life and continue to be strong and healthy. Joan, am I allowed to say how old you are? So you have to unmute yourself. Look at this beautiful woman. She is, am I right, 78? Is that how old you are? Does she look 79? Take a look at her. This is my idol right here. My life. Look at how beautiful she looks, because she takes care of herself. She takes care of herself, and she's active every single day. And she is the genius behind these products. The genius. She would have probably been Joseph Pilates' best friend, because they both had that same incredible mind to create products that help heal people. This is what we do here. And this is a time, we're in a pandemic that hopefully we see light at the end of the tunnel. This is something that will help your clients tremendously. I believe, and this Parasetter is not brand new, right, Joan? It's been around. And we've been, I think
no, it's not. It is brand new by the standards. Can they hear me or not? I don't know.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
I mean, it is brand new. I think what I want to say, only one thing. I'm in my apartment in Chelsea, New York, and I can look out. I can see the World Trade Center. I can also see the Statue of Liberty, but around the corner is the Feldenkrais Institute. And Feldenkrais is probably the most important bodywork ever created. And the roller that everyone knows, that's ubiquitous, that's everywhere, the foam roller that you have in every gym now and yoga studio and bar studio and Pilates everywhere, that piece was introduced by Moshe Feldenkrais into America in 1972.
Wow.
72. And no one picked it up until maybe 2005 and 2010.
Yeah.
Just think about it. All the benefits people would have gotten because it's a very good product, right? Now, fortunately, this is only a few years old and it is getting accepted much more quickly compared to the original roller. And it's different, but you know, you have to think about how unopen people are to anything new when you consider that 72.
Yeah.
No one knew about it till probably what, 2005.
It's great. Well,
So-
thank you, Joan. And thank you, all of you, so much. And I just want to leave you with a thought that you have the power to change people's lives. And with all of the information you gained here today and the products that we have to offer, you are their inspiration. You're their inspiration. They look to you. And no matter how many on-demand or service things that are out there, they come back to you. And the fact that you're here today, educating yourself on all of these things to help you and your clients, enables you to help someone else. So I always enjoy presenting. It's one of my favorite things to do. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this morning, and I hope you'll come and visit us. I do want to share my screen one more time to show you. Let me bring this up. Share. The last slide here. Let's go to this one.
It's there.
There it is. There he goes. Good. So I'm sharing that with you guys. If you want to take a screenshot of that, feel free. And also this PowerPoint, I think you were able to download a PDF of it. So you'll have that information. I'm going to bring myself back to stop sharing my screen for a moment. And if you have an issue, just email me. My email's in the chat box. And if there's anything that you need, feel free. I'll be happy to share that with you. I can't answer today, but I'll answer actually by Monday. So I want to thank you guys all. Enjoy your break, because I think you have a break now. You can go shop. And I thoroughly enjoyed Joan, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will leave you with have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your day, and sending energy your way from Colorado. You have a great day. Thanks. Take care, guys.